Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2021 POOLaide Webinars.
We're going to be talking a little bit about the Trans Children and Youth Swim Night that we've started here in Ottawa through the Ten Oaks Project, and also some tips and suggestions for making any kind of swimming or pool programming as inclusive as possible for trans and gender diverse youth. So someone's gender identity, someone might identify as male or as female, or maybe not identify as male or female at all. Someone might identify as non-binary or gender diverse or something other than male or female. And that's completely separate from someone's sex or gender assigned at birth. They don't necessarily have to be connected. The same thing is true of gender expression. So someone might express their gender in ways that we would stereotypically think of as being feminine or masculine, or maybe both or neither. And again, that's completely separate from someone's gender identity or the gender that they were assigned at birth. And so what that means is that, if you have someone who registers for a program and they indicate that their gender is male, that doesn't really tell you anything about any of these other categories. And one of the things that we heard really clearly from many, many trans and gender diverse youth is that a lot of people stopped going swimming and stopped participating in any kind of recreational or sports activities because there were no spaces where they felt safe or comfortable participating in those activities, or because they were experiencing transphobia or homophobia from people around them when they tried to participate in those activities. These are things that you can do to make those existing programs as safe and inclusive as possible. So whenever it's possible, it's best to do registration and give people an opportunity to include their preferred name and pronouns and to use them wherever is possible. So even if you need to know someone's legal name, say for like health and safety reasons, it's also possible to give an option for folks to indicate their preferred name. But it's also really important as an individual staff member to make a really big effort to respect people's chosen names and pronouns and people's individual identification, regardless of how they might look. It's so important not to make assumptions about gender, gender expression, sexual orientation, or family structure. Another big piece of this is confidentiality. So like we talked about, it's really important not to share information about someone's identity with other people without their permission. And this includes parents and caregivers of trans and gender diverse youth. So we repeat this a lot because it's so important that if someone shares something with you about their identity, that might be a really big deal, and that might be something really personal and private that they're sharing with you, and they might not want anyone else to know.
We do not use the term blind exclusively because 9 out of 10 people with sight loss are not totally blind. We use people first language, so people who are blind or partially sighted rather than blind people, and then try to avoid negative connotations, so vision impairment or visual disability. So in general, always introduce yourself and do so by name. Ask. If you don't know something, ask. Have a conversation and seek the answer for that particular individual. If you are describing things, please be specific. So pointing and saying over there, not helpful. I do not know over where. So be natural. Act like you would with anyone else. Speak in a normal tone, speed, and volume. A couple notes about safe environments. Push chairs into tables. Keep all doors either completely open or completely closed. Anything on an angle is hazardous. It's hard to navigate. Keep aisles and corridors clear of obstacles, tripping hazards if you can't see it, hard to navigate. If in a familiar environment, maybe they're regular at your pool. If something gets relocated, please let them know. Always ask before helping. And let the person actually have a chance to say yes or no. Sometimes we will say no. Simply ask, would you like a hand? Can I help you with anything? If you're in a loud or crowded space, a gentle tap on their shoulder or arm just lets them know that you're talking directly to them. If you take anything away from this, I hope it's those 3 things. Tell them your name, their name, so they know that you're talking to them, and can I help? If assistance is accepted, offer your arm by putting the back of your hand on the back of their hand. They will then follow the arm and gently grab your elbow. I'm trying to demonstrate, but I'm probably failing miserably to do so. And they'll follow about a half step behind you and just to the side. And then as you guys are walking, try to describe things, but use clear and specific language around obstacles. Do not touch a dog when it's in harness. And this is really important because if the dog is distracted, this risks the safety of both the dog and its handler. Guide dogs are allowed anywhere their person is allowed. What would you do if somebody came to your pool and was alone and they needed their dog at the edge of the pool for their independence and safety? Ensure your staff receive training around accessible and inclusive customer service. I messed up the sentence, but how is somebody who is blind or partially sighted going to navigate those environmental features? So an example I have for you is, what about the edge of the pool on the pool deck? Is it high contrast? Is it easy for somebody who's low vision to see? Is there any tactile element for someone who's completely blind? I would think that would be a really key safety feature. If there's a blue pool and a blue pool deck, not great.
I'll break down the water slide into what makes it successful. But really, I think the idea is that it's a metaphor for almost any aquatics feature. So even if you're not thinking water slide, hopefully this information or this viewpoint can apply to any feature that you're looking at. Where do you start? The first questions are usually, how much space do you have available, or how high do you want the slide to be, or how much do you want to spend? I would argue that that is kind of like starting a book at chapter 4. I've put together the top 3 things I think are a great place to start. So step 1, age groups. What age group are we trying to appeal to? Are we trying to entertain? Step 2, the intensity of the ride experience. This is the step where facility planners get the information they need to balance out the activity levels throughout the entire facility. Step 3, based on the installed capacity of your facility and your knowledge of peak attendance times during the day, we can get a good sense of your required instantaneous capacity, and that's the number of swimmers in your facility at any given moment. Most of these will be scalable. They don't have to be like you see in the marketing pictures. Not every slide needs to be 20 meters tall, 300 feet long. The quality water slides with a great rider experience, they hold their value very well for the entire life cycle, 20, 25 years. I always say, never repeat what other facilities have offered your swimmers. There's too many options to choose from. There's so much creativity from the manufacturers. There's absolutely no reason to mimic. These manufacturers are resolving. They're finding solutions to problems that, we didn't think 5, 10, 20 years ago that we could solve these problems. There's at least one water slide manufacturer is working on accessibility and inclusion, something that's been off limits for them to a large extent. A water slide, just like a lot of features, plays a big role in the success of a community aquatic center. And that's beyond even just the ride experience. They'll draw in guests. They'll promote repeat visits, more frequent visits, so a higher frequency of returns. They'll increase the length of stay, and that can have a direct and indirect benefit to revenues. They have very long life cycles, and if we analyze the resources we need through operations and maintenance per user, you're going to find that it's actually very economical. They're not difficult for staff to master either. I think that's a key thing. They're not overly complicated. Science does most of the work for us. So to set your facility apart from other facilities, it helps to create memories. It helps to inspire the want to take your selfie there.